Hello, I'm Philippe Rosinski. I've been working with leaders for 20 years, helping to develop management and leadership. In my latest book, Global Coaching, I discuss how to develop the new breed of leadership that is necessary today to be able to tackle the complex challenges that you face within your organizations and that we all face worldwide. In Global Coaching, I discuss 6 perspectives in particular. Then we have an important aspect that is often overlooked in leadership, and that's culture. And by culture, I don't mean here necessarily just national culture. I mean any type of group that we are associated with. It could be a religion, a profession, a generation. In fact, we all have typically multiple cultures. And for me, leadership and coaching from a cultural perspective is about being able to make the most out of cultural differences. It's about treating differences, cultural differences, not so much as a problem, and oftentimes it is a problem, but as a source of richness, as an opportunity. Coaching across cultures, by the way, was also the topic of my first book. And in the book we discuss how to build unity in diversity. For that, and I'm not going to go into the details right now, but I've also developed a tool that is available online, and it's called Cultural Orientation Framework Assessment. Because oftentimes the problem here is people don't have a vocabulary to talk about cultural differences. And the goal of this tool is to help people be more aware of their orientations, of your orientation in various areas: thinking, communicating, managing time, organizing oneself. Oftentimes we tend to work out of habits, and we don't realize perhaps that there may be other possibilities to communicate differently, to think differently, to organize ourselves differently. And in fact, without giving up our preferences, we can learn from other cultures and continue to grow as leaders, as we include aspects from other cultures that may be useful in our context. The next perspective is the political perspective. And that is also often overlooked because, sometimes people think, and leaders think, if I'm doing a good job, that's, the results will speak for themselves. In our experience, it's also important to have a systematic approach and to understand that politics does not have to be destructive. In fact, it's essential in an organization because you are not alone and you need others to achieve your goals. It's important to be able to work with other people, to build alliances, in other words, to engage in politics in a systematic fashion. And you can do this constructively by also being eager to serve other people. So I won't go into more details here, but that's an important part of leadership development as well. And the spiritual perspective, I don't mean this in a religious sense, but it is notably about developing a sense of meaning for yourself and being able to inspire others with that sense of meaning. One way to do this is to strive to do well by doing good. And in organizations today, unfortunately with corporations, the trust level has been low in recent years. And you have an opportunity to show to prove the skeptics wrong and to show that it's possible to reconcile profit and purpose. So that's what the spiritual perspective is about. It's also about resilience. How can you face hardship? We all face hardship at some point in our lives, unfortunately or fortunately. Fortunately, sometimes indeed, because there is a way to make the most out of these experiences, and that's called resilience, to bounce back from failures we may have and to be able to grow from these experiences as well. So that's all part of the spiritual perspective. Rosinski and Company consists of a network of associates worldwide in the various continents. And here in the Czech Republic, Our representative is Eva Draska of Principal Coaching, and she's a member of the American Chamber of Commerce. Together, we are able to offer services in various areas to help to develop leaders, teams, and organizations. The first area is individual and leadership development. Again, we can do this typically in the form of a combination of consulting, training, and coaching. The second area is team development. We work with teams, with the project teams, management team, all the way to top executive teams. The third area is organizational development. Organizations grow in three ways: organic growth, alliances, merger and acquisitions. And research suggests that the failure rate of alliances and merger and acquisition is really very high. I saw figures recently as high as 90% failures. That is when merger and acquisitions don't deliver the synergies they were expected to deliver. And research suggests a number of reasons for this, but one important factor is culture. We can help address that issue. The way we do this, it starts with a cultural audit, and we use the cultural orientation framework to do that together with interviews. As a result of that phase, we are able to make recommendations, and this is typically followed up with several initiatives. And here again we go back to team development, working with integration teams, with leadership development, ensuring that the cultural differences, instead of derailing your project, become an asset. But that won't happen typically, it won't happen automatically, it will happen once you have a proactive approach, and we can help you with that. We have our Leading and Coaching Across Culture seminar. That is a public seminar, and we typically have leaders, managers from different companies attending this seminar. In fact, I just returned from Argentina, in Buenos Aires, where we have delivered the seminar. It also took place in New York, in Sydney, in Hong Kong, and in various European countries. In fact, next year it will also take place in Africa for the first time. And this is an experiential, intensive 3-day seminar where people really learn how to make the most of cultural diversity. And that is becoming increasingly essential in today's world. We had this seminar in Prague a couple of years ago, and that was an exciting experience where we had 15 nationalities represented, 21 participants. Participants learn a lot from each other. And this is not just an isolated event, because we then have different ways for maintaining that connection after the seminar as well. People also become certified to use the cultural orientation framework assessment, and that can be, this is something you can use then with your teams, and if you are a line executive, and as an HR executive, you can then use this as well in your leadership development initiatives. To finish up, I just want to wish you the very best on your leadership journey. It is a difficult and challenging journey, but it is also a very exciting one.